Welcome back to Bearapy Sessions, episode 16. We are here recapping the Bears and 49ers shootout, which ended with a 38-42 loss. Hard-fought battle, back and forth, lots of fireworks. Chris, what do you got?
That game rocked.
It was an awesome game.
What did you think?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, entertainment value was sky high.
it's like the third or fourth time that like national pundits were calling a Bear game the game of the year.
Yep.
There was the second Packer game, even the first Packer game. People were like saying it was really well done, and then actually a little bit that Bengals game.
Yep.
Um, but if you took the top 10 kind of like consensus games of the year so far this year, the Bears are in like three or four of them, which is really cool. Uh, Nick, how did you kind of watch that game?
I was actually at another movie for the first quarter of it. I was at a family movie with the family. We were at Zootopia 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
And I
All
was
right. Let's get
checking.
into it. How was it, Nick?
It was good. It was good. The kids loved it.
Grade it.
Kids
Grade the
enjoyed it.
units. Grade the
Grade
units.
the units. I'll give them a
How was the
solid.
bunny?
The bunny was good, very very smart and clever
Okay.
and cunning
Yeah.
and
Okay.
give her a give
How's the fox?
I'm gonna give her an A minus. The fox is gonna get a B plus. The
Hmm.
fox was a little wishy washy at times, a
Yeah.
little too.
Yeah. The fox doesn't have guaranteed contract next year, right? So his money's all paid up. So if they need to move on, they can do it.
Yeah, he wasn't really all in like the bunny was. You know, the bunny really brought a
Okay.
lot to the table. So,
Interesting.
but no, it was good. The movie, we were there for most of the first quarter, and then we got out of there. I was sneaking peeks at my phone during the first quarter,
Hmm.
and I looked at my phone right after the T.J. Edwards pick six, and I see a text from you, and I knew something good happened. And sure enough, we put 7 on the board right away. And then the rest of the game I watched from home and was tuned in. And, you know, they said NFL history going 7-7, 14-14,
Yeah.
21-21, all the way up to, what was it, 35 or, yeah, 35. So that's how I watched.
What did that text from me say?
Said, yoink.
I was detached. I found myself detached from that game for a couple of reasons. Is that I watched I watched that Seahawks Panthers games pretty closely because that was really going to determine that game would determine the next 2 weeks here with the number one seed being in play or not. And it was competitive until Bryce Young completely imploded in the early fourth quarter. Did you watch that game?
Part of it. I watched like probably a quarter and a half, and then I saw the meltdown happen live by Bryce Young and turned it back to the Red Zone channel.
It's a shame, just with the playoff structure, because if you can't be the one seed, the actual best spot to be in is the five seed, is to get potentially Carolina
Right.
in round one, because they're okay, but he's like barely functional as a player without like an extreme running game, things like that. But yeah, so once the Panthers lose, it becomes that game becomes almost pretty meaningless for the Bears. And then on top of that, they're all sick. They all got the flu. And I know exactly what they're going through because my family got sick. We had to cancel Christmas. We had to reschedule it for Saturday. My dad got it. He got it from my son. I've been basically like sick for the last week. I may have a sinus infection. I'm blowing bloody snots all day. I'm chugging beers on camera when I shouldn't be. Um, but I felt like crap all day, right? And I couldn't imagine having to play an NFL football game. And I'm looking at the reports, and I actually think it was a little bit underreported, but Caleb was apparently sick too.
Yeah. Right.
So the guys they were reporting are the ones that like legitimately were like getting IVs and were like really really sick. That's like Darnell, DJ, a bunch of these guys, and a lot of the defense. It's like, you know, NFL players are like a different breed, right? So you can get through sick through different, let's call it concoctions. Let's say a mix of, I don't know, Toradol and vitamin B. Um, right? They're not taking Dayquil or Mucinex. They can
Right.
cut through, but still, that's a nightmare situation. And I kind of was seeing this, and I was like, they have nothing to play for. I wouldn't have blamed them for sitting, guys. Right? You're locked into the 2 and 3 seed. Um, like I just didn't see. I didn't see the game going well, and then I was kind of thinking it would be a blowout. Um, and then they opened that game. I was watching the beginning of it, putting my kids to bed, as I usually do, laying next to their bunk bed, and they get the pick six. And I kind of felt like, do you remember the Bengals game? We gave up that kick return right away on the
Yep.
first play,
Yep.
and then we ended up winning, right? And I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I didn't. I was weird. I didn't feel great about it. And like, do you know how many times the Niners have punted in the last month?
Gosh, it's got to be like once or twice or something. Yeah,
It
once.
was that weird fourth quarter punt. The Niners right now are playing the best of anybody in the league. And the
Yep.
Bears, although their schedule has really ramped up. There is nobody in the league playing better than them right now. And this is what we'll talk about. The Chicago Bears go toe to toe with potentially the number one seed in the NFC in their house, all sick with the flu, score for score. And it was a hell of a game. I feel the same way I felt after the first Packer game, in that it's potentially a very useful loss that you'll be able to take things from this. They ultimately leave mostly healthy. I think they lose Sewell, but they have like 5 linebackers now. After the game, Nick was losing his mind about Luther Burden.
I was
He
freaking
was
out
wouldn't stop texting me, just rocking back and forth.
in the corner,
Luther, not Luther.
in the fetal position. Yeah. No, I was very concerned about Luther. We'll get more info tomorrow with the
Yeah.
injury reports, but it's already sounding like it's a minor thing.
I was just texting you during the game. This is a different team. This is a different team than I've ever seen. The closest thing is 2013, is the first Trestman year with McCown and Cutler, where they were both playing really well with a shoddy defense. But this team has a better running game, and it does have a better defense. There's more guys on it. Um, I would chalk the defensive performance up to a combination of San Francisco right now is just in their bag. Um, and then with a combination of a bunch of them having 102-degree fever, it's like not a great combination. But
Right.
for them to go toe to toe, score to score, it's just totally different, and it's just awesome to see. Before we get into the grades, Nick, you drinking something? What do you got?
Yeah. I've got
You
the
still got to work tomorrow.
I do have to work, but that's why I've got the Penrose Light right here. The
Okay.
Helles Lager, light, crisp,
Yeah, that's a
refreshing,
good one.
golden. So thanks again to Penrose, our sponsor. Thanks for the beer. What do you have?
Goofy Boots standard for me. The hazy IPA.
Cheers.
Uh, it's so nice to actually not have to chug these on the show. That's I've now chugged 2 beers on the show, and it's fine in the moment. And I'm pretty good at chugging beers. The problem is like 11 minutes after.
Yeah, catches up to you.
That's the problem. Quarterback.
Quarterback was great. Caleb was fantastic. One of his best all-around games. He goes for 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 2 touchdowns were absolute beauties. Just absolute dimes.
Piss missiles.
Yes. And actually heard a crazy stat. Both touchdowns were 35 yards or greater. So I think one was 35 and one was 36. And Caleb has done that in another game this season against the Cowboys. He threw for 2 touchdowns,
Boys to Rome and Burden. Yeah.
35 yards or more. That is the first time that a quarterback has done that since Lamar Jackson, I think several years ago. And then before Lamar Jackson did that, the last time that had occurred was in 1991. So that is not a common
Wait,
feat
say it again.
to have
So
two
just two touchdowns of over 35 yards in a game.
in two or more games in a season. You got that? So
You're gonna have to send me that. It's
you
not
got two.
computing. Yeah.
No, it's legit, my friend. It's two touchdowns of 35 yards or more in two separate games. And that's the first time since
Both of
Lamar
those
Jackson.
touchdowns weren't just 35 yards. There's 35 yards from the line of scrimmage. It was
Right.
actually like 47
Right.
and 50 right from where he's
You talk
throwing
about
it
air
to, and he's
yards.
throwing
Yeah.
him on a frozen rope, man.
Right.
Um, this is we have waited for this player in this city in this position for my entire life. Um, I mean, like when I was a kid, when I was in like grade school, our quarterbacks are like Eric Kramer, Rick Mirror. I'll just go through it. Rick Mirror, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Cade McNown, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller,
Spare
Chris
us.
Chandler, Henry Burris, Rex Grossman, right?
Spare us the exercise.
No, but it's we've never had this, and he's
Right.
here. He's 20. I believe he just turned 23 years old. Um, this is Lisan Al Ghalib. He's here. Um, you know, this is the closest thing to Mahomes since Mahomes won the off schedule stuff, right? And it's near unstoppable. And it's the reason they're so good at these gotta have it end of game and a half situations is when you're in a situation when they have to score, so they're going four downs on every set, right? They're literally, you can't stop them because he has so many ways to attack you. Now, like at this point, they get down to the end, but did you have any doubt that he was going to get them in position to win that game at the
No.
end?
Nope.
I think they let him score at the end of the game. Like it kind of looked like it, right? Like I would rather have Caleb with the ball in his hands with a minute 30 and two timeouts than trying to stop the Niners, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he did. And, things happens at the end of the game and things go haywire in the last two plays. We'll get to it. But that's one of the finest Bear performances of quarterbacks you'll ever see. And now he's put together a bunch of these. And also, like, the biggest thing is he elevated the program. That's a sick team, literally sick. His right tackle's being flown in a private jet, which, by the way, doesn't happen in previous years or
Right.
without the Kevin Warren or Ben
That's
Johnson
right.
thing, right? And for him to elevate the pro, because it looked for a second like they were going to get blown the hell out of that game, and he just starts answering, and
Mm-hmm.
he's devastating out of the pocket, and then really in the pocket. But just an excellent game for him that really kind of shows you how exciting the future is, because you have to think big picture with this, like how exciting this really is, but to combine that with how exciting it is right now. And the other thing is that he has been pretty significantly better at home than on the road. Are you aware of that?
I don't think I've seen the splits. No.
He's played better at home, and for him to start evening that out, that's where this is really going to get great. I mean, he's already right now a top 10 quarterback. By PFF, he's like
Yeah.
14 or 15. Um, you're looking at an unlimited ceiling here. Nick, are you still? Do you still have?
Nope. I'm free and clear.
Okay,
Free and clear.
I'm having a hard time, kind of. I think the stuff I got was too cheap.
Yeah.
But Nick and I did paint our nails in honor of Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah. In honor of Caleb, and also to make good on our bet about them clinching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have some meetings tomorrow, so I had to get it off of my fingers before that.
I have meetings Monday, and I'm like worried that I'm going to be all nailed up. I'm going to have to figure that out. But Caleb Williams, you get an A from me, and
Yep.
you get a Dr. Nick Dog of the Week. He
Yep.
is 270 yards away from 4,000 yards.
Awesome. Crazy.
It would be, he's going to get 269.
And that's okay.
And
That's
maybe,
okay.
yeah, whatever.
Who cares, honestly?
He's going to end up, yeah.
He's gonna
He's
get
going
it
to
at
end
some
up
point.
around 4,000 yards. He's going to end up with about 30 touchdowns and six. This is what you're seeing right now is the greatest quarterback season in the history of the team.
He's easily gonna eclipse Eric Kramer's Bears record, which I believe is 3,838 yards. So 38-38. I think Caleb needs like 110 yards to
Yeah.
eclipse that.
Um, at the beginning of the year, if dedicated listeners will go back to the beginning of these podcasts, specifically not even on YouTube, the ones we have originally on like Apple and Spotify, I was alluding after the Lions game that like he had about 2 weeks before they were considering Tyson Bagent. There were two things about it. Like one is just like it's hard to remember now, but there were still questions at the beginning of the year, like is Caleb Williams this team's quarterback, right? Is he going to be the guy or whatever? That's gone away for the first time ever for like a Bear. I mean, it never totally went away for Mitch. It never went away for Justin. It's gone away, right?
Right.
There's no doubt that this is the guy. The question now becomes what is the ceiling and how quickly can you get there in the rookie contract? And that'll be like a big thing in the offseason um, because he had massive things he had to clean up. He did, but there's still stuff for him to improve in the next offseason. But my biggest concern with Caleb came from the Tyler Dunn series of articles um, in August that basically detailed all the dysfunction last year. And it was all sourced from Matt Eberflus and his staff.
Right.
And I actually really like Tyler Dunn and I subscribe to his show and I think he's got a really good perspective. And then I now realize that what I think a lot of that is that Matt Eberflus is a freaking loser, man.
Absolutely.
Like, would you let Owen or Frankie go to that team? No, I would have never.
No.
I would have burned the league down.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm impressed that Carl Williams let him do it. Um, but he's here. We've waited for him, so let's enjoy it. A from me.
Yep. A for me. Running backs.
Running backs. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Running backs, the output wasn't anything crazy, but they were very efficient.
It's the
And
game script.
and yeah, it just turned into just a shootout through the air. But DeAndre Swift had 2 touchdowns, which were obviously critical. One of them was awesome. One of them was like a 22-yarder, I believe. I think that was his long rush. Um,
Jukes multiple guys in the hole.
yeah, and then Monungai looked good. He didn't have a ton of runs or yards, but he was efficient. He had 4.8 per carry. Swift had 6.0. So they were fine when they got the ball. It just wasn't that kind of a game. So I've got him at a B plus.
22 for 110 and 5. 22 for 110 and 5. So they're doing it all the time. It's just that this game script, when you're constantly firefighting and trailing, you can't pound the ball, right?
Right.
But this running game is consistent and it's traveling every week. Swift was really good. Um, gosh, man, Monungai. So actually, on the year, Monungai is averaging 4.7. And like he's literally just getting 4.7 yards on like every carry. That's
Yeah.
not like a Saquon thing where he's either getting 50 or losing 2 yards or Barry Sanders.
Right.
Um, he has the same numbers roughly that like Ashton Genty has. Swift
Yeah,
is
it's
at
crazy.
4.9. Um, yeah, man, it's a really really great running game, and that's gonna be that's gonna be kind of the thing they'll hang their hat on in the playoffs. It travels and it's one of the best units in the league. So I would give them actually both B pluses.
Yep. I have him at a B plus. And by the way, Swift hit 1,000 yards rushing on the season
Yeah,
last game, and Monungai is at 769. So he's going to easily probably hit 800 yards. Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe he'll hit 900 if he has a big game in Week 18. But just think about that. We have 2 guys that are very close to getting 2 1,000-yard rushers, which is not something that commonly happens in today's NFL. So, hat tip to Ben Johnson and to those guys and the O
Let me just
line.
ask you a question. DeAndre Swift, I didn't realize they signed him to a 3-year contract. So he's under contract next year for $6 million, which is a decent, right kind of where it should be for a running back. Would you give him a small extension to lower that cap hit, or would you just kind of let him go another year and then hand it off to Monangai and after that?
Looking at his age, I would give him a small
He's still
extension.
young.
He's only 26. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
give him a small
And
extension. He's been great.
I don't even think he has that many carry because he's always been in a timeshare. Um, he's I was really hard on him just because of like the vision, and also like this is an immensely physically talented guy that was never um, grasping his potential, and you rarely see that with running backs as they age because they usually burn out so fast. But he's he's been like a revelation this year. He's fun to watch. I sent you the tweet. He runs like he's from the city. I sent it to Charlie Fry. He's like, I don't know what this means. And I said it means he's hard, dude. You don't want running backs from the suburbs.
That's right. That's right.
No, I'm Jared Payton. Jared Payton. Don't. Sorry, Jared Payton. Um, Receivers.
Receivers were good.
All right. Let's get
Our
into it.
guy,
Let's get into it.
our guy Luther Burden was the star of the game next to Caleb.
Yeah.
Luther was incredible. 8 catches, 138 yards. That really impressive touchdown. And the stat that I really like is he had 8 catches. He had 9 targets. So he caught all but one of his targets. That is impressive. He had a great game.
So that goes into the big stat that everybody's sharing about him, which is what?
Efficiency.
The yards per route run.
Right.
Which does kind of,
Right.
it's like such a random stat, right? But what it's showing is that he's really being extremely productive on limited targets as like the third or fourth option in this offense. So in theory, as you funnel him more targets, he should exponentially increase his production. Yeah, all that's one thing, but to just watch him on the field, the way he moves is totally different. Right now in the league, who moves like that? Jamison Williams, him,
Malik
who else?
Malik Neighbors.
A little bit,
Very
some
shifty.
Neighbors. Yeah,
Maybe
it's the change
maybe
of direction.
Jamar Chase. A little bit. I've heard
Maybe,
some
yeah,
comps there.
it's what it is it's the violent athleticism and the change of direction without losing speed. And he's like breaking guys' ankles and making them look silly in the open field. And he's going to actually, there's going to be one of these where they're in like man against like single high safety where he jukes one guy and he's gone.
Yeah.
Brittany's calling the cops on our neighbor for playing music too loud. Jessica, turn the music down. Um,
Tune
but,
into the pod. Subscribe to the pod, Jessica, while you're at it. Turn
so
the pod up
to
loud.
understand like Luther Burden is not some like guy that they unearthed or whatever. He was a 5-star like all-American recruit from Illinois, from East St. Louis, and he goes to Missouri, which people thought was weird because like he was the biggest all-time recruit they've ever had. And he's unbelievable. He's really good as a freshman. He's unreal as a sophomore. He's not draft eligible 2 years ago. Had he been draft eligible the year that Rome and Malik Neighbors came out, it's possible he goes between them.
Yep.
Luther Burden would have been a top 10 pick 2 years ago. So last year in college, he had a fall off in quarterback play, and the team wasn't as good, and there were questions about him like dogging it and stuff, specifically in the Alabama game, and that's why he falls. It was weird. He was considered, coming into last year, he was considered a top 10 pick the whole year. And then he fell, and it was a really un-Bears-like pick to take him because he was considered to be like a diva a little bit. And it's just not something they've done in the past. And I was shocked when they took him, especially because I was sure they were going to get Judkins. Sure. So I have the police coming now. We can get it live on the show.
Yeah.
Or something.
Let's get the police live. Let's get their take on the Bears.
You never know what you're going to get on Bearapy Sessions. Luther Burden rocks, and This dude's 22 years old, and a very in crunch time in that game, you have a second-year, 23-year-old quarterback throwing to a rookie tight end, a rookie wide receiver, and handing the ball to a rookie running back. This team is going to be the best offense in the league, if not next year, in 2 years. It's incredibly exciting. It's super awesome. It's a little bit reminiscent of the 2016 Cubs in that they tanked and then they chose to buy their pitching, right? And by pitching, we're mean offensive line, and they drafted their hitting, which is the skill players.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they've done, and it looks like these things have married up. But that dude rocks, and he will be I actually, if I had to pick between him and Rome, I would pick him.
Yeah.
I,
I'm with
Rome, you. Rome is a really good all-around skill set. I don't know if he's special at anything yet. He appears to be like just a really well-rounded X receiver, where Luther might just be a special guy with the ball in his hands. And to have those two guys at X and Z for the next 4 years is going to be really cool. Let's get to Loveland.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not to mention Loveland, who is a whole nother animal, and he was, again, just fantastic. He had 6 catches, 94 yards, a touchdown, big play. It continues to be just clutch for Caleb on third downs and fourth downs.
Fourth down.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a security blanket, and he's really – their connection is really, really blossoming, and it's becoming what I was hoping for. I finally saw a commentator say it, Kurt Benkert, former Packer quarterback.
Former Virginia quarterback, yeah.
And he is analyzing the offenses, and he's looking at the Bears last night, and he says that he can see this relationship growing between Caleb
I saw the video.
and Loveland.
So it's the open field, right?
And he's saying how it's reminding him of Mahomes and Kelsey. Yep.
Yeah. There's 75 qualifying tight ends for grading in Pro Football Focus. Where do you think, as a rookie through 16 games, Colston Loveland ranks?
I have no idea. I'll say 5.
Colston Loveland is the 6th highest rated tight end in the league as a rookie.
Wow. It's impressive.
So tight end is famously a position that takes years to develop. Kind of look at Kyle Pitts. For him to come in at top 10 at any rookie that comes in top 10 at their position is like an incredible pick.
Yeah.
Especially at that position. He rocks. There is something kind of funny. I don't know if you're aware of, but he's also becoming somewhat of a sex symbol for female NFL fans. Are you aware of this?
No, have not heard. Heard this.
There's a there's a phenomenon now on like Twitter of opposing teams' female fans just discovering like who is this 84, and like every game, like so there's like videos of people they're just taking like videoing him on the sidelines and stuff like. So apparently, I'll ask some of my female Bear fans, but apparently he's extremely handsome. as a handsome guy, I don't always notice it, right?
Yeah. It's hard for us to identify that, right?
Us fellow handsomes,
right?
But like I'm pretty proud of that. Like I'm more I want more. Like him and Komet are probably the most handsome unit in the league, right?
Yeah, why not? Does PFF do a ranking for that?
We'll have to ask around, but
we'll have to check.
Cole Komet and Colston Loveland are probably the most handsome, at least tight end duo maybe ever. But Nick, we're gonna have to clip this. This one will go viral. He rocks. The receivers, they get an A. We talk about it every week or whatever, but DJ's production goes right back to what it was when there's more options available. And he, I think he was sick all week or whatever. They're going to have to do something about that contract because we'll get into it on the defense. They need to airlift in a defensive line. Offensive line.
Offensive line was great. Caleb wasn't sacked at all. They didn't get much pressure on him. He he was pretty much able to do what he needed to do. We talked about the running game being efficient, so I thought the offensive line was good.
Darnell Wright posts a 90 PFF score, plays all 66 snaps, with a flu bad enough that he has to be flown in a private jet to the game. He doesn't make the Pro Bowl because now the Pro Bowl. So do you know like how the Pro Bowl works now? That it's not like an actual game.
Yeah, it's like a flag football game, isn't it?
Well, now that they're not actually playing it, it's harder to make the team because like guys would turn it down, right? So that's how you get Mitch Trubisky. That's 2018 Bears had like 12 Pro Bowlers, right? Because they got knocked out. Um, he'll be a Pro Bowler next year. A lot of it's like name recognition based, but there isn't 3 right tackles in the league right now that you would take over Darnell Wright. He rocks. On the other side, Ozzie comes in at 69.7. He is posting high 60s, low 70s every week at left tackle as a rookie, which is really encouraging because those numbers typically go up from year 1 to 2 by like 5 or 10 points. It means that you have a left tackle, at least a starting one right now. So in PFF, which I kind of always go by, and PFF is a scouting service that the league uses, they give ranks to all the players. I lost. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so the lineup here. So there are 86 qualifying tackles. Okay. Where do you think Ozzy Trapio ranks?
I'm gonna say.
So this includes left and right.
I'll say 40.
So there's 64 starting tackles in the league, right? 32 teams each have 2 tackles. He's coming in as the 35th tackle, right?
Nice.
So of 64 tackles, he's right in the middle. Wright's at 10. Wright's grade suffers from a middle of the season when he like was playing with one arm, but you appear to have your tackles, and then your interior is now is the best possible unit in the entire NFL. Guard, center, guard, they're all top 10 players. They're all Pro Bowlers. Tooney and Dahlman make it based on their names and their recognition, but Jackson's playing just as well, and they're protecting and moving. It's an awesome unit to watch. They get an A. Defense, Nick.
Defense was terrible. Defense was aside from that very first play, TJ Edwards with the pick 6. Defense really struggled. They were just a giant sieve that the 49ers sliced and diced all night. 49ers and Brock Purdy were able to do whatever the heck they wanted to do. I struggle to find any. I think I kind of like the way you raised that. Let's just address them as a unit, the defense altogether, because I struggle to find any bright spots. I mean, obviously TJ. The only other one is Booker, and he flashed. He was getting some pressure. His numbers actually, he showed up. He had 3 tackles, a sack, 2. He had 2 batted balls and a QB hit. So he continues to put pressure on the quarterback. So, that's the one bright spot. Otherwise, it's enough.
The PFF grades are pretty much a nightmare. So 87 a grade for CJ, which is an elite grade. Then you go down to 75 for Stevenson, even though he only played 18 snaps. And then everybody else is yellow. And then you go all the way down to the reds. Grady and Billings are scoring like really bad every week. This team desperately needs 2 defensive tackles. I have a hot take, Nick. I would like you to clip this and pin it. I think the Bears potentially get both Jeffrey Simmons and Max Crosby in the offseason. I think that they have plenty of resources. I think they're really young at a lot of positions, and this happens when you're really young at a lot of positions. You don't need a load of draft picks because then they don't play. Remember, like the Lovie Smith Bears would draft all these guys that you wouldn't see for like 2 years, right? Because they were like so entrenched everywhere. They're going to the way that they went and then acquired an offensive line is what they'll do with the defensive line this year. And they're going to do it with, they have all their draft picks, and then they'll be able to move money with like DJ and a couple of these contracts. But they're in desperate need of two defensive tackles. And then Booker is really emerging as a good player, as a solid player. He'd be really good if you could pair him with another guy. You get one more end in there. Like if you, Max Crosby is not going to be on the Raiders next year. He's 29 years old. He makes a good amount of money. He's not going to actually cost you that much. So you could probably get both of those guys for like seconds. You can move stuff around, and also your first round pick now is going to be in the 20s. So that's kind of new for us. We haven't had that in like a really, because even when they were good, they didn't have their first round pick. Nick, when was the last time the Bears picked in the 20s? Do you even know?
Was it Kyle Long or Shea McClellan or something like that?
Yeah, you got it right. Giving up the 25th pick for Max Crosby, I don't know, but that is what the focus of the next offseason will be. It's the limiting feature of this team. Dexter is a decent to good young player, but he can't be the lead guy.
Right.
The Grady Jarrett contract is a miss. It's just he's too old and he's been injured. He would be a guy that you might want to rest this upcoming week, but there's structurally there's not enough pass rush, and they're not stopping the run with these defensive linemen. It's just the problem in this team, and there's no help coming. And it's not like they have like young players to improve. This was a defense. This team was originally built years ago to be built around this defense for a different coach, right? So, you get guys in there for DA that fit that, but that's where it looks like. Also, they were all sick, man. I don't know to tell you, right? Like nobody's stopping that team. They were all sick. I would be very curious to see what happens in this upcoming week. You're at home. Are you playing all your guys? What's up with Detroit, right? They're out of it. The line has been wonky. Have you watched this Bears line?
What's it at now? But it opened at -2.5. I thought that was weird.
It opened at -1.5. And now it's up to -3. So Vegas may know something about maybe Lions sitting guys. But you know what? It's been a hell of a season, and I'm actually really excited to see where it goes. I've been enjoying doing this with you and talking to our beloved rabid fan base. We may do another live show coming up here. So if we do, we'll schedule it, and we can kind of get the word out. Go Bears!
Go Bears!